Shalom, shalom, all the saints of the Most High Yah. We wish you all the blessing of the Most High Yah in this season of our celebration of the Passover. I believe we are catching the Spirit, and it's our prayer that you continue to follow our study as we continue to explain the prophetic word right from the beginning in the book of Genesis or the book of Bereshit, in understanding how the Father would raise a kingdom from the dust, from nothingness, to becoming a superpower, that one that will rule over all things. I believe this is helping you understand. Now, previously I was talking about, I brought in the picture of how this kingdom is going to fall, the seven fall and the seven rise, meaning it's going to go into the grave and to be raised from the grave again. And also this is a picture of the Messiah dying and also rising from the dead and ascending to the throne. So this also helps us to understand that the kingdom will die, meaning to go into slavery. Then after that, the kingdom will be raised, and it will go through the process of transformation. For 40 days, Messiah was still on the earth. Really was going through the wandering stage. Then later he ascended to the throne, meaning that after 40 years of the transformation work of the Spirit, then they can now enter into the place of the inheritance to really inherit the throne. But all these pictures, even in the renewed covenant or the New Testament, is really pointing to this kingdom that the Most High had planned right from the beginning. Remember, in the book of Isaiah 46 verse 10, we are told that he declared the end right from the beginning. So if you want to understand the end, where do you go to? You go to the beginning. So the beginning will help us understand the end. It's not like in today's world where we look at everything old as old, but in the scriptures, for you to really understand what is coming ahead of you, you need to go into the past, because the past explains what is ahead of you. So without understanding the Old Testament, then there is no way we can understand eschatology or the future. That's why now, if we read the Old Testament out of this account, then we'll begin to guess now the future. That's why you have now a millennial, post-millennial. These people are trying to guess, because why? They've rejected the foundation knowledge that will help them understand how things are going to end. So I believe this is helping you to understand the Master's thoughts concerning his establishment of the kingdom. In my previous discussion, we were talking about why Adam was coming from the earth, and I connected the idea to the sevenfold, the kingdom, that this kingdom will fall 7 times, but to rise again to power. And on the 80th day, it takes a permanent rulership, exactly as the Most High has spoken. So this is what we've been trying to explain, so that you understand. And we answered the question to say, why did he come from the dust of the earth? Meaning it's coming from a place of nothingness, from being a least, from being a tail, from being a nothing, dirty, from being just nothing, and being raised into this a mighty and populous and powerful nation that will establish the Father's kingdom on this physical earth. That's what we are trying to explain. Now, when Adam was created on the 60th day, and he came from the dust, we see that the Most High said one thing in the same chapter 2, verse 18. The Most High says, it's not good for man to be alone. Let's make him a helper that is going to be compatible to him. So we see the other idea that is brought in there was that Adam, or man on his own, would not really achieve much, because how can he be productive alone? So we see that the Father wants to bring in the kingdom to begin to be productive, so that it can now expand and really go all over. So in this concept, we are picking Yahweh's tonation of the expansion of the kingdom. He really brings in the idea to say this is what he wants to see. His kingdom will start as a small thing somewhere. Like the Messiah gave a parable of a mustard seed. The kingdom will start so small, but it will really expand. But how is it going to expand? Then he's going to use a principle of teamwork. In other way, he brings in a woman that is needed, so that when Adam, man and woman are brought together, they can begin to produce something in order to expand the kingdom. So we see that the idea was that the kingdom should not just start, be small, but it was to expand into other avenues, to expand, just like I also gave a picture of the rock that struck that statue, was started to grow, and in the end it covered the entire earth. That is the plan of the Most High, that the kingdom may start very small, but the whole idea is that to cover the entire earth, and that is his plan. So now, how is he going to achieve that? That's why I say it's not good for man to be alone. In other way, the kingdom cannot be expanded when man is alone. How can he be productive? Therefore, he brings in a helper that will help now in this expansion of the kingdom. Just as we have in the physical sense, when I got married to my wife, it's because I wanted to expand my kingdom, my small kingdom, my family. So now, with my wife, we can work together and begin to produce children. And children now are increasing us in number. That is a picture of number one, the expansion of the kingdom. Number one, the increase in number. That's why I said, go ye and multiply and be ye fruitful. And how can you be fruitful alone? So he brings in the idea to say, no, the only way that the kingdom will be expanded is when Adam is given somebody to work with, so that when they work together, they can be productive. And that's what we are seeing. So he begins to hint in chapter 2, verse 18, the whole idea of expanding the kingdom, that the only way the kingdom will be expanded is by teamwork. That's why even in our understanding that if man and woman are not working together, there is nothing they can achieve much unless they begin to go back and begin to see the importance of man and woman becoming one, and that will now see that a child will be produced. A man brings the idea, which is the seed, and a woman adds value to the same idea, and it brings out a complete product. I'll give you this idea so that it really helps you to understand from a very simple understanding. That a man is an inventor, he has the idea. The woman is an innovator, meaning she adds the value to the ideas that the man brings into being, so that now you have now a complete product, a child. And again, when you produce another child, you do that. So in other way, the only way the kingdom is going to expand is through productivity. And now it's all interesting that if you read in the scriptures, you discover that most of our mothers, if you read Sarah, you talk about Rebecca, you talk about Rhea, you talk about Rachel, you talk about Eliezer, you will find that these all our mothers had a challenge in terms of giving birth. In other words, they were barren. So in other words, they could not produce. So why did the Most High continue to show such pictures to us? Really saying there's going to be a time when the kingdom is not going to be productive. In other ways, it's going to depend on other people's produce, and they will just be more or less like a consumer kind of a nation. So rather than being productive, meaning they are barren as a people in that situation. So interesting that we see that barrenness also was a picture of how the kingdom will lack productivity when it falls. It will lack productivity, then it will be more of a consuming a people than a producer people. So this is what these ideas are bringing into being, so that you understand the restoration of the earth's kingdom. So we see now, he says, it is not good for man to be alone, but let's make him a helper that is compatible to him, one that is going to be compatible. If you look at the Hebrew word for helper, there is a zakanedo, meaning one that is an aid to him, one who is a boundary setter, one that rescues him, one that really helps a man to really be focused. So now, I'll give another example in a picture of a man that is not married. When a man is not married, he's not really focused on things, but when you get married, you now understand that you need to get focused, and the woman really brings in a lot of balances. The things that you used to do when you are single, you can no longer do them, meaning she brings in boundaries in your life. Also, she rescues you from a life minus purpose and direction. Now you begin to work with purpose and direction, because now you have a woman that is on your side. So we see all these pictures helping us to say now the whole essence was that through a woman also and a man working together, they can now expand the kingdom and take it to wherever the Father would want it to go. So through the multiplication or being fruitful, Adam and Eve, that the kingdom will be expanded. And we see the reason why it says not good for man to be alone. He's talking about how is the kingdom going to expand if man is just alone. Unless there's a teamwork between a man and a woman working together, then they can produce something. So that in the produce, the kingdom will be expanded. So we see that the idea that masters bring there is all about the expansion of the kingdom. And ideally, we spoke about it even in the book of Daniel, when that rock had struck the stature. It really destroyed that into powder, but that rock again began to grow and filled up the earth, meaning that the whole idea was that the kingdom will start very small, but it will grow and begin to expand and begin until it covers the entire earth. That is the plan of the Most High. But how is it going to cover the earth if man is just alone, unless you bring in another partner, so that when the two work together, they can now fill up the earth. That's why it says, and he blessed them, meaning the two of them now, to be fruitful. So in other words, fruitfulness is not achievable when you are alone. Fruitfulness is achieved when we are working as a team, and this is what is going to help us also understand. If we work as a team, then we can achieve many. Even in the book of Genesis chapter 11, you see the master knew to say, if people are going to work as a team, they can achieve much, they can build whatever they want to build. So he said, let's go and confine them. There is power in working as a team. We can achieve the unachievable things that people fail to achieve just by working as a team. This is very, very important, that even in marriages, why some people are not succeeding is because they've not gotten to the understanding of why a woman and a man are brought together. To us, mostly it's just maybe to produce children, but it's beyond that. It is talking about how you also as a family will begin to expand as a picture of the kingdom to influence others in other ways. That's what it means. So we see all these pictures being portrayed in a very simple way, so that way the people understand the kingdom. So we see the second thing that we are seeing there is that it brings in the picture of not good for Adam to be alone. But the second thing that we also going to see here is that the woman or the helper is going to come from Adam's own body. So in other ways, it's going to be Adam's own flesh and blood. So we see this is very exciting also. A woman is coming from the rib, or the woman is a rib that is coming from Adam. And this also raises a lot of questions. Why is a woman a rib from Adam? That is what we are going to try to expand more as we continue on our study. I believe this is helping you really to see right from the beginning in the creation account how the Father was speaking about the establishment of his kingdom. Right from the Genesis itself, right from the chapter 1 of Bereshit, right from the chapter 2 of Bereshit, he's been conveying these ideas that this is all about the establishment of his kingdom. And I believe this is also helping you to understand. And we're going to look at why is Eve coming from the rib, why is the rib, so that you also understand what this also really means as in connection to Yah's kingdom, to the establishment of his kingdom. And I believe this is going to help you to really be a person that is going to have the full revelation and understanding of the kingdom of the Most High Yah, and why right from the beginning the Father has been hinting through the prophecies, through his words, through principles, through certain ideas, through certain proverbs, through certain parables, and all these were connecting to one and the same idea of his kingdom being established. That's what the all essence right from the beginning to the end. They're all issues about establishing a kingdom, and we are trying to show you right through creation that is all about the establishment of a kingdom. And I believe this is helping you to understand that the concept of the kingdom are right embedded in the very beginning. He declares the end from the beginning, and we believe this is helping you also to understand that the Master himself, Yah, is work, is everything that is done, is driving human civilization to an end, that a kingdom will be born after that, and it will rise to power and begin to rule the earth on behalf of the Most High Yah. I believe this is found you in a place where you needed this information, and I believe this information has come at a time when you needed it the most, so that you understand the whole concept of the scriptures that you read day by day. With these few words, may Yah richly bless you. Shalom, shalom, Yakai.